Hello, it's Stuart here, the Unrepentant Atheist. Thanks for tuning into my channel. And today we've got an episode from 2016. Carlos calling in from Peru, and in this episode, in my opinion, one or two of the calls went slightly wrong. Maybe things could have been done a bit better. It's always easy to say that in hindsight, of course, but let me know whether you sort of agree with me. So let's get going with this one.
All right. Well, we appreciate the call, especially you holding on so long.
I have one more question. Just one
okay.
You said that everything that you believe in is because you have proof. Is that correct?
My goal is to not believe anything without good reason. I mean, I'm not quite sure what you mean by proof, and it's not necessarily impossible that I might believe things without good reason.
Something that's always...
I mean, if somebody can show me that I believe something and I shouldn't, that I don't have good reasons for it, then I stop believing it.
Not that you don't have reasons, but if you believe in something without having proof, like for instance...
What do you mean by proof?
If you have a wife, do you have a wife? I think you're married, yes?
Yes, I have a wife.
Sorry, let's just stop there for a moment. Because what Carlos said was, if you believe in something without having proof, it's a shame, really, that when Matt asked, what do you mean by proof, that they didn't really define what Carlos meant by that, whether he meant absolute certainty or whether he meant sufficient evidence or what. Because in my opinion, this is sort of where things went a little bit wrong. You'll see why.
Wife.
Okay. Does she love you?
I don't know.
Now, I thought that was a really strange answer coming from Matt. I almost think it was like a bit of a joke, but from that answer, things sort of went a little bit wrong. I very rarely hear Matt say he doesn't know, unless it's something like, what happened before the Big Bang or something like that. Something where there is absolutely no way of knowing, and we just don't have that. We don't have any evidence whatsoever. But obviously, in this case, what is the guy asking? He's saying, does your wife love you? And Matt answered, I don't know. But is he asking for knowledge, or is he asking as to whether Matt believes that his wife loves him? Because this is sort of where things went wrong.
Come on, man.
Would you all right, let me finish.
It's Valentine's Day.
Let me finish let me finish. Stop.
You see, I know what the guy's getting at. He's trying to draw an equivalence between belief in God and maybe belief in things where we don't have sort of concrete evidence, like things like love. I mean, somebody once said to me, prove that flower's, I said, well, I don't believe in God because I've got no evidence. And he said to me, prove that flower's beautiful. And it's a different kind of thing. But as to whether Matt's wife loves him or not, the fact is he's got some kind of evidence to go on.
Stop and let me finish, because you don't know the first damn thing about my relationship. I may actually not think my wife loves me. Do you want me to answer your questions honestly?
Hey, don't get angry, man. I'm just saying.
I'm angry because...
You see, this thing is, people say, oh, don't get angry. When people start focusing on emotions, like, why are you getting angry? Why are you swearing? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? They're moving away from the actual substance of the argument. I absolutely hate it when people do that.
Because I'm trying to explain something and everybody keeps talking.
Yeah,
you asked, do I believe that my wife loves me? And I said, I don't know. And I was going to continue before I was interrupted.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, Matt just said it. Really strange. I think he kind of lost it a bit here. You asked, do you believe if your wife loves you? And I answered, I don't know. He was asking for belief. He was not asking for knowledge.
By the laughter. It depends on what you mean. I can tell you this, my wife tells me that she loves me, and she acts in ways which are consistent with her loving me. I can't read her mind to know what she actually thinks about me, and so the only information that I have to go on, I evaluate that. And both of those things, those are observations that I make, which are consistent with observations I would make from someone who loves me.
So
I am convinced that the most probable, I'm convinced that the most probable explanation for my wife acting as if she loves me and telling me that she loves me is that it's more likely that she actually does love me. I don't know anything, I'm not claiming anything absolutely certain, and I...
Yeah, well, this is strange because he wasn't asking for certainty, and Matt, so many times when people have said to Matt, well, I don't know if God exists for certain, and Matt will then say, I didn't ask for certainty, and he's kind of doing what other people are doing to him. So I found the whole way that he approached this really strange, and it ended up in a very unsatisfactory way. You'll see.
Acknowledge that I could be wrong. My belief is proportional to the evidence for it.
Right. Well, you should have said that. I wish you'd said that right at the beginning. Yes, I do believe, and the strength of my belief is in proportion to the evidence for it. I've got evidence that my wife does love me, and so what have you got to say about that? And then we could have heard the next stage of his argument.
Don, what about you? Does your
Oh, I don't know why he's moving to Don now. This guy's all over the place.
wife or husband love you?
Yes, as far as I know.
Okay. There we go. There we go. I think there we have an answer. Okay, so, but there's no proof that he does, right?
Okay. Well, okay. Now he's moving to what sounds to me like certainty.
Well, I could give the same sorts of evidence that Matt just gave, right? That,
Yeah,
that
but
that
it's
I
not
have
proof,
some,
right?
that I have
This is
some
why I've
evidence,
asked you
right?
4 times, what do you mean by proof?
But-
Because Don just gave you evidence, or cited that he could give the same evidence, and your response is, but it's not proof. What is it that you consider proof, and are you appealing to absolute certainty?
Because you cannot have any proof for that, right? You couldn't have proof.
Would you answer the question, when you say you can't have the proof, what do you mean by proof, and are you appealing to absolute certainty?
Okay, let's appeal to absolute certainty then.
You're appealing, so you want...
I think he's just going whichever way the wind blows. He's lost track of his argument and he doesn't know what to say. So he hears a suggestion and he's just going with it. This call is going completely wrong. It's losing focus.
You're asking, are we absolutely certain that our spouses love us?
None of us claim to have.
Then
be absolutely
my
certain
answer
about
is
anything.
no, because I don't think you can be absolutely certain about anything. And if the only
So why would you then say-
and if you let me finish my sentence, and if your position is that we can't believe anything until we have proof that amounts to absolute certainty, then you have just done away with all knowledge.
Okay, well, I just wanted a simple answer because of conversation.
I'm sorry, but not all questions
I know.
have simple answers. And it is the desire for a simple answer that is screwing you up.
To be honest with you, the way that I would have dealt with that question, I would have said that I've got sufficient evidence to believe that my wife does love me. Do you believe in God? And if so, what is your sufficient evidence for believing in God? I would have really cut to the chase just like that because I could see where he's going.
No, it's not screwing me up. I'm just asking a question. You're getting all angry.
No.
There he goes again with the anger thing. It's because he's got nothing to say. He's got no coherent point to make. I don't even know why this guy's called in.
Okay,
I
so,
don't know.
first of all,
I mean, the funny thing is, it started off like, oh, Matt, you're my hero. I really like what you guys are doing. You're absolutely awesome. I've been watching you for years. And it's come to this.
First of all, I'll calm down whenever I want to. The issue here is that you keep saying, can you prove it? Can you prove it? You can't prove it. And you avoided, let me finish. Let me finish. Jesus, you keep interrupting me, I'll put you on hold. You kept saying, can you hold? I know you can still hear me because we tested this. You keep saying, can you prove it? Can you prove it? You can't prove it. And every time I'd ask you, what do you mean by proof? And is an appeal to absolute certainty? It took forever to get you to acknowledge this. If you think that there is a pathway to absolute certainty, I am happy to hear it. I don't know how you can get there. I don't think that it's remotely relevant. And whether or not a belief I don't even care whether or not it counts as knowledge. I certainly don't care if it counts as certainty. And philosophers will tell you that knowledge doesn't require certainty. The most conventional definitions of knowledge are justified true belief. There's nothing necessarily certain about it. But if your position is that absolute certainty is attainable and that no beliefs are rationally justified until that, that's a case that you need to make. My position is I don't see any path to absolute certainty, and I don't care because it doesn't matter. Because what determines whether or not a belief is rational is whether it is supported by evidence. And as we learned from Hume, the wise man apportions his belief to the evidence. You are convinced of the truth of a proposition in proportion to the supporting evidence. And that's why if I don't think the evidence leads to absolute certainty, I cannot be absolutely certain, but I can still be convinced and justifiably so. Did that make sense?
Okay, now, can I speak now?
That's why I asked a question and took you off hold.
Okay, thank you. 'Cause I didn't know that. Well, how I would answer that question, I mean, I kind of understand what you're getting to with the absolute thing, but how I would answer it would be this way with just anybody who's talking in the street. Would be if I love my wife, I would say yes, and if I know that she loves me, I would say yes, although I have no proof of it, right? But I choose to believe that because of the things that she does.
No, you don't choose to believe.
Well, that's not, well, that...
I think that's a bit of a turn of phrase that he's using. I don't think he's really using that literally. I think he just means that if he sees evidence for his wife's love of him, then he will believe it, even though he won't have proof of it.
That's my opinion.
Okay. I completely... So you think...
But I mean, the evidence for something is also the proof. It's just not the absolute proof.
You can just choose to believe something.
I do. In that case, I do, because there's no way that I can know that she loves me.
Okay,
well, this is a
believe
colloquialism.
Okay,
So don't make too much of it, Matt.
Well, it's wrong.
Yeah,
I will make much of it because it's wrong. We don't choose beliefs. Beliefs aren't an act of volition. When you believe something, it simply means that you accept that it's true or likely true. And your belief in it is the result of becoming convinced. It is not the result of, okay, I'm going to believe this. There's not only no reason to think that an act of volition is how beliefs result. There is good evidence that it cannot result that way. That in fact your brain reaches a conclusion long before you're ever consciously aware of it.
And then the rest of your brain goes and rationalizes it.
Yep.
When I say that, what?
You say that it's likely, it's likely,
Yes.
that's how I feel. It's likely, it's possible, right? But
Yeah.
there's a possibility that she doesn't love me.
Yes.
But I'm saying that, but when I say she does love me, just like you say, because you told me that she does love you, it's because you're making a decision to make that claim, although you might be wrong, right? Because
I've already said this. I fully acknowledge that I could be wrong. This is what I'm saying is, this is what my belief is, and the level to which I'm convinced of it is proportional to the evidence supporting it. Okay. And your response was, well, you can't prove it, and it was an appeal to absolute certainty. And the answer to that is, what difference does that make? We can't be absolutely certain about anything. I'm
not saying that makes a difference. I'm just saying that you can't prove. I'm just saying, just follow my line.
What difference does it make whether or not I can prove it? This is the point that
But can you allow me to finish my point instead of interrupting me? Just let me finish, and then you can hang up and continue with your point.
I can hang up right now. I asked a question.
Gosh, Matt, what a guy. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Can I?
I think that was just. I think that was just one. One irritating thing too many. I think he was starting to realize that this guy is really just on here wasting time. That he doesn't really know where he's going with his argument, and unfortunately we did not really see where he wanted to take this in relation to the big question, belief in God. So the fact that Matt can't prove that his wife loves him to a full degree of certainty, or to a lesser degree of certainty, or whatever, how does that relate to his belief in God? Sadly, we never got there. And I feel really bad about it, because the call went on for over 20 minutes, and the guy started off saying, he grew up a Catholic, etc. He found Jesus when he was a boy, As he grew up, he's at peace with himself. He never really declared what he does believe, but it sounds to me like he does believe in God, and unfortunately that was like a 24-minute call. You didn't hear the whole thing, and they got bogged down for the last 10-15 minutes on this last question. Things were sort of going okay up until then, and it just turned into a complete mess. Matt felt bad about it, and it just went nowhere in the end. And I would have been a lot more. I mean, Matt now actually is less patient. When people call in with this kind of thing, he does now say, "Well, let's cut to the chase. Let's go directly to your argument. Why are you arguing that, and how is that connected with belief in God?" And he could have connected the whole thing together. We could have seen his train of thought, and then Matt could have critiqued it. Sadly, that never happened. I thought that call could have gone better. Let me know what you think. Where did it go wrong, or did it go wrong? Let me know what you think, and I'll be back again with another video soon. Apologies for the quality on this video, the picture quality. I had to reduce the rate of download because it kept pausing. So see you. Be back again very soon. Bye.